it was as common to see the dulcimer played with a bow as it was strung. Tell me if you notice anything different in the way it sounds. Pretty neat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, fiddle. This was the poor man's cello. Like I say, in the 18th century, it was very common to see people playing it either with a bow or plucked. The plucked ones would have little feet on the bottom because they were always played on a table. And when you set them on the table became your amplifier. It was a lot louder when you strummed it. When you're playing it with the bow, you didn't need it because the bow gives you a lot more volume because you're always putting energy into the string. They would use these to play hymns in church. Of course, after church, you'd have to play something a little perkier for people, so they can kind of get out the door. Like that. Okay. Now, this being Sunday, I feel I should do a song that is not only entertaining but instructive. And it's not strictly an 18th century song, but I think you'll get the point. And this kind of reinforces what I said at the beginning here about songs being a little longer and telling a story, and doing so in a way that's reasonably entertaining. So, song goes like this. Now, buddy, get up and come here to your path. I'll tell you a story, climb up in my lap. It's better than the story of Daniel or Ruth, and although it is fishy, it's every bit true. Now listen right well while I tell you this tale. How Jonah the prophet got shot by a whale. That whale got poor Jonah and blessed my dear soul, and not only got him, it swallowed him whole. Now part of this story is awfully sad. It's about a great city that went to the bad. The Lord saw them people with such wicked ways. He said, I can't stand it but 40 more days. So he went to old Jonah and said, go and try to that wicked old city and tell them that I give them 40 days more to get humbled down, and if they don't do it, I'll tear up the town. When he heard the Lord speaking, old Jonah said, no. I'm a true hard-shell Baptist, and so I won't go. Those Nineveh people are nothing to me, and them I won't give but a nickel to see. So we went down to Joppa, 'twas there in great haste that he boarded a ship for a different place. The Lord looked down at him and said, he, old Jonah's a-fixin' to run off on me. So he set the wind a-howling with its squawks and its squeals. The sea had got rowdy and kicked up its heels. Poor Jonah confessed it was caused by his sin, so the crew threw him out and the whale took him in. Now the whale said to Jonah, old feller, don't fret. I'm sent here to take you in out of the wet. So he opened his mouth and poor Jonah went in. You're gonna get punished right much for your sins. On a bed of green seaweed the whale tried to rest. He said, now I'll sleep so my food will digest. But he grew mighty restless and sore afraid, for he rumbled inside as the old prophet prayed. On the third day the old fish arose from his bed, with his stomach tore up and a pain in his head. He said, I must get to the air mighty quick, this filthy old sinner's a-making me sick. So he winked his big eye and he wiggled his tail, set out for the fort to deliver his mail. He got to the shore and he looked all around, and he vomited Jonah clear off on the ground. Now Jonah thanked God for his mercy and grace. Then he looked at the whale and then he made a face. He said, after 3 days and nights you have found a good man, old sucker, you cannot keep down. Then he laid himself out with a yawn and a sigh, laid out in the sun so his clothes would dry. He thought how much better his fortune would be, since from the whale seminary he had a degree. After resting himself right well in the sun, he set out for Nineveh almost in a run. He said, I must hurry and try not to sin, I'm sure I don't want to get swallowed again. He arrived at the city about a week late, and he preached from the time that he entered the gate. The whole population repented and prayed, and the great hand of justice at length it was stayed. When you run off from home, you remember this tale. When you disobey Mammy, remember the whale. There's varmints to get you on sea and on land, and a boy can be swallowed lots easier than a man. That's the preaching for Sunday here. I have one more selection I'd like to play for you. Any questions I can answer about any of this or anything else of the 18th century here for you before I launch into this? Yeah.
The bagpipes, don't you blow through some types of them?
There's hundreds of kinds of bagpipes in the world. About 60% of them you blow into. About 40% you use the bellows.
Yeah, I just found that interesting. I always thought you blow through some type of reed or something.
Most people have only seen the great Highland pipes. They've seen them in parades, they've seen them on television. Some people have seen Riverdance and seen Davy Spillane playing his uilleann pipes, and they're pumping those. In France, there's probably maybe more than 15 different kinds of bagpipes. Most of those are bellows blown. In Poland and Czechoslovakia, there are bellows blown ones. They're all over Hungary. They're all over Eastern and Central Europe. So it's kind of in the Balkans, they tend to be mostly mouth blown. Same thing in Spain.
Do you take requests? He wants to hear maybe.